Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Busy, but in a good way. How about you?
Same. Yeah, and you're very prompt. Notice you're the only one here.
I thought since I was late last time, I better be right on time this time.
Sounds good. And there's Ans. I want to put something in the chat before I erase it. And here comes Monica. Hi, Monica. Can we see your smiling face?
Hey, no, I'm not going to be on camera this morning, but good morning. How are you all?
Aw, good morning. A good evening to some. Ans, try talking again. I can hear Monica. I can hear Sarah. I do not hear Ans. Try talking again. Yeah, we don't. Oh dear. I would say maybe computer audio. Is it connected to computer audio? Hi, Raisa.
Hello.
I'm glad we can hear your mic. We normally can hear Ans just fine, but right now we can't. I'm going to put a link in the chat. I just got to grab it, and it's going to be a resource folder for you for the future. So it's an important link to keep. Ans, you might want to try coming out and coming back in again.
I'm quite a night owl, so it doesn't bother me too much.
I was happy to hear you say that, even though we hope to have our next meeting, which will be the 23rd, 1 hour earlier. But what we're going to do for Monica and Misty, who can't be with us today, is do the North America middle of the day. So hopefully that will help because it's got awfully early there. I know Misty's not a morning person. Monica, are you a morning person? You're on an airplane that day, right?
You're right. I am on an airplane. So it would probably be hard to do it from the plane.
Mm-hmm. It'll be marvelous. I don't know, Reza, if you can share video for the day. You can keep yourself unmuted because there's just a handful of us today. We have a tight agenda, so I really want to get going soon here. Did everybody copy the link that's in the chat? You want to keep that. It's going to be a receptacle for resources for you that'll live on Dropbox. I'm a Google Drive gal, but Zonta International uses Dropbox quite a bit. So what will happen is, hi, Ans. Ugh. Anybody technical who know why this would be happening?
Sometimes if you have used different kind of microphones, you have to select the right microphone there.
As I was preparing for this meeting, I was speaking with somebody from District 1, and they have like Region South America, they have a big job ahead of them. They're going to be a district, you need to be at least 300 people. And they find themselves slightly under 200. So they have a big job to do. And as we were talking and brainstorming, I realized something. I love a good membership challenge. And there's so many things that we can do to up the energy in Zonta as far as membership goes. And I'm so glad that you are part of the team because it absolutely cannot be done by one person. We're going to have our hands full with how many people we have now. So I just wanted to say welcome to this meeting and thank you for being here. As I'm looking for Winnie. I don't see Winnie on yet either. Let me just text her. It's hard when the times are like this, you know. I promise it will be worth your while. We're going to basically be going over basics of Zonta because some of us come from a lot of experience, but some of us don't. And we just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. We'll talk about the job and some miscellaneous. And you might want to be thinking about your favorite fast and friendly idea for keeping things fun in a Zonta meeting. And here is Ans again. Connecting to audio. This is a good sign. It says connecting to audio, Ans.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I don't know what you did differently, but it's great.
Well, I'm using my iPad. So I've got, that's okay, I use the iPad.
It's probably some kind of internal setting then. Well, anyhow, great to hear you. We just did a little bit of a welcome. I just sent Winnie a little note to see if she can hop on. I'm going to share my screen. I was just saying that we're starting from the basics, and there's a document that I put in your resource folder. It's called Welcome to Zonta. And it's nice because it's got all the basics in there. Have any of you seen it? Raise your hand if you have. Raisa, I know you have. When we were governors, it came out. Okay, so some little things in here. But what I want to take you over, anything you ever wanted to know about Zonta for basics is in here. Even our hex codes, color codes, you know, our branding is important. I'm not seeing your arms again. Okay, so
Can you see me?
yeah. So I want to be sure you're in Illusion. So Winnie was going to take us over the 3 kinds of membership that there is. When you can join Zonta 3 ways. You can join it in a club classification, which would be a classified member or a young professional member. Those would be the 2 that are of the 3 that are in a club. There's also a way to join Zonta not in a club, and that is called a supporting member. And the difference, the age for the young members now, Ans, correct me if I'm wrong, 35 and younger?
That's correct, 35.
34 and younger. So once you hit 35, and how do you know when it is? If your birthday is on the 4th of the month and your dues are paid to Zonta International on the 3rd of that birthday month, then it goes by when the dues are paid to Zonta International. So, you know, you may join as a young lady.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, we won't need you on the call either. You could join as a underage person, but if your treasurer doesn't pay the dues till after your birthday, then guess what? You got to pay regular dues. And then the other one is supporting member. That person is not part of a club, is not part of a district, but it is a way to join Zonta and connect. Monica, I see your hand up. Do you have a question?
No, you had said if you know about membership, raise your hand.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the brief overview of the structure. Ans, do you want to take it from there?
Yes, I'd love to take it from here. And there's 2 ways we can have a look at structure tonight. So the one that you have in front of you is probably the most visual one, the easiest to see that. And I'm going to actually start from the bottom. That's right. Yes, we are here. So at convention, as you know, we've just had the elections and we now have the international board. So Zonta International has 4 elected officers, so the treasurer and the vice presidents and so on, and then 7 international directors that together form the board. They are also the board of the foundation. Then we have, of course, our big leader, and that is, of course, Zonta International President Ute. Now, the governance structure then next shows the, on the left-hand side, the international committees and the international headquarters. Now, if you want to know more about the international committees, I would certainly encourage you to go to the Zonta website. And I had the link on my computer, but it's not going to work tonight. But you will find it under About Us. And if you go to About Us and you click on Leadership and Structure, and you click on international committees, you see all the committees. And not only do you see the committees, it also shows you the lovely pictures of all the committees. So certainly worthwhile surfing the Zonta International website to find out more about these international committees. And of course, that's where you will also find us, the International Membership Committee. And of course, these committees have that sort of governance. Next in line is the districts. There's 31 districts and 1 RSA. And that is for South America, which is not quite a district yet. We're just hoping to get there this year, this biennium, but it's not a district yet because they just don't have enough members there yet. Next in line, the district committees. As you know, you've all been in Zonta long enough to know that it's a bit of a reflection or mirroring the Zonta International committees. So we have district committees, and then we have area directors. Now, the district committees are going to be very important for you because that's where you will connect probably most likely with somebody from who is responsible for a club creator, or who is a membership committee, or who is a lieutenant governor. The next, of course, the areas, you're all familiar with your own areas, and the area directors report together with the district treasurer and the district governor and lieutenant governor form, of course, the board of the district. And then the next are the clubs. You're all familiar with that, so I don't have to spend too much time. Club committees and club members. So as you can see, this is a structure that is not only represented in a visual way with a graph, but you can also read more about these committees when you go to the About Us Leadership and Structure on the Zonta International website. Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you, Ans. That was wonderful. Now I'm going to show you a very elementary, rudimentary version of this that helps my brain. And it looks like this. I was trying to get this line out of there. All right, so you have Zonta International. Now this is flipped of what Ans had just said. And it's very important to know that the convention, where all the clubs come together, that's really runs the show. And then the board enacts it and guides it and such. And then we have our committee, our membership committee, of which you are a part. We have myself, Ans, Winnie, and Silka. Silka, by the way, is in the hospital, so send good wishes her way. She had to have some unexpected surgery, or she would be with us today, but I know you wish her well. And then part of the team is the regional reps. We have 6 of them. Oh, Juliana's not on. I'm expecting her to. Oh, she said she was going to be 10 minutes late. So you got in your hand with the connection information, something that looks very small.
Teresa,
Yes.
I was on the website, but I didn't see us listed under the membership committee. Do you?
Regional reps will not be. Regional reps are part of the committee, but it's core committee and regional reps. So the core committee is myself, Ans, Winnie, and Silka. We're the ones that are responsible for everything. And then the field people who connect are the regional rep. And it's, I guess, I would say, if you were thinking of our own bodies, there's the bones, and then there's the skin. But if you don't have that stuff between the skin and the bones, it's not a body. You guys are the stuff between the skin and the bones. So a vital, vital part of the committee is the regional reps. And they just started not too long ago doing regional reps, and it was very successful. The regional reps will have different districts assigned to them. And at the district level, the lieutenant governor, or some areas call it the lieutenant governor, it's the same thing. That's the person who's charged with membership for the district. That person meets with club membership chairs. Okay, so our big communication challenge this biennium is to get our message and to get our spirit and to get the energy for building membership from our mouth and heads. And the committee is going to steer it. The regional reps are going to put it into play by connecting with their lieutenant governor of the districts on which they are in charge. And then those lieutenant governors have to convey it to the membership committees of the clubs within their districts. Now, in some of the larger districts, it's divided by areas. Raisa, I know yours is like that. And some of the larger districts, or maybe not even that big, but some districts speak multiple languages. Each area is a different language. So they would actually have another layer in here called area directors. So it gets complicated. If you remember that telephone game we played as children, or the expression that a chain is always as strong as its weakest link, you can see the challenge that we have in getting our message across. There's Julianne. So I want to also look at our biennial goals. In the interest of time, I'll just put it in as a handout. But one of them, of course, is to build the spirit in Zonta, make people happy about being in Zonta, and inviting more people. And you'll hear me use the word, you'll think it's a drinking game every time I say intentional. We want to have intentional actions um, uh, for recruiting. So our job will be to build that intentionality. Okay, so now how are we going to meet? We have this situation. How are we going to meet? You have the job, regional reps have the job of connecting with the core committee and their lieutenant governors. That's a job. So how is it going to balance? The core committee is going to come out of the gate really strong and meet every month. We thought we were going to meet on Wednesday. As it happens, it's now Friday. It's not our first choice, but it is what it is to get everybody there. We are currently on Fridays. So you do not have to join us every single month because you will be busy on the months that you're not with us. You will be talking with your lieutenant governors. So I am going to now take a look at our dates, and this will come in your handouts. And it's probably, if it's not in the resource folder, it will be shortly. Okay, so these are dates that are important to membership. And again, if you want to make notes, fine, but you will be getting this document. So the Zonta year, another thing that's a basic to understand about Zonta is we are not on a calendar year. We are in a year that begins in June. So Happy New Year in June, and it goes through May. Also, structure is such that you'll hear the word biennium or biennial, and that means it's a 2-year period. So when you see this, you'll see that we have our calendar for 2 years. And then the leadership changes in 2 years. The governors will change, the ZI board will change, our committee may change. So this is I want you to get a feel for the rhythm of things. So yes, in June we were together, some of us in the, Julianne was there, Ans was there, several of us were there, Winnie, for the Hamburg convention. Silke, not Winnie. Winnie was on virtual. And then we have July, we all met with Uta for the first time. August 31st, the core committee had an organizing meeting. And now here we are today. Look at that. We are 25% into it, ladies. September 9th. And then there's going to be an extra meeting September 23rd, where we bring in the lieutenant governors. They'll be invited. There'll be 2 different sessions. As I said earlier, the North America will be a little bit later. And some of the core committee may be there as well. But this is going to be basically to introduce the lieutenant governors to you and you to them, and give them the ideas that we're hoping for. So we're all on the same page. And then from there, you may want to schedule a meeting in your own time zone. Won't that be a joy? In your own language, with your lieutenant governors in the month of October. Now on this calendar, whenever you see report to ZI, do not worry about it. It's nobody's job but mine. As chair, that's a job the chair gets to do. And so no stress on report. In the month of November, at the end of November, this says 23, but I believe it's 25. Why does it say this? These are weird dates. It's 25 through, we got to fix that. 25 through 10. So I will fix that before it comes out. Boy, I can't even stand looking at it. 16 Days of Activism begins on the 25th of November and runs through the 10th of December. This is a day that the advocacy committees of the districts and of clubs will be making some public facing action. They may do something on social media all the 16 days. They may do something physical in their community. We're looking for 100% participation in some kind of public facing act during the 16 days of activism. And we want to connect a membership invitation whenever we meet with the public. So certainly this would be a very strong day. So when you're meeting with your lieutenant governors in October, I'm sure you're going to be speaking to them about, hey, what are you guys doing for, here's the vision for 16 days of activism. Then we come to December, and I want you to know, if you don't already, that starts the second half of the year, and Zonta International has half-year dues. So that means that anybody who joins, who expresses interest in November to join Zonta, could actually come in and pay half of the international rate. The international rate is $88, so it would be $44. If they were a young professional, the international rate is $44 US, so half of that would be $22. It's a great opportunity to try on Zonta without a giant financial investment. Not that the whole thing is a giant investment, but understand that your lieutenant governors need to know that the dues structure shifts slightly in December. And it goes all the way through the rest of the year. Okay, in February, I have to ask, does every country have Valentine's Day? You do? Okay. Because February is a wonderful time for club membership chairs to love their members. We had one club send Valentines to every member, anonymous. So it was, and they put something nice about them on each one, something nice about, and they just loved it. We empower women, and we need to start with women in our clubs. And I say women, it could be any gender. The members, it starts at home in our clubs. March 10th, International Women's Day, Rose Day. That's a big public facing day again. And you will hear more about that. And you'll notice when it says RR next to the date, that's a date we want you to come in. Okay, so make sure that you put these dates on your calendar where it says RR. April 14th, and is the April meeting. May 12th is the May meeting. However, that entire month and all of May is a contest called Add Your Voice, where Zonta International focuses and does a little contest for people who, it's for clubs, and it goes by, they divide the clubs by size, so it's very fair, small, medium, and large, and they encourage them to add members. I do want you to know that when somebody joins in the month of April, they get a 14th month membership for the price of 12. So that should, and again, it comes after our public facing event. So we really want to do a drive, just prior to that. When they join in May, they get 13 months for the price of 12, and then we begin our new year. Any questions on the calendar? Anybody have any questions on the calendar? I can't see everybody all at once here with a share. Okay, so I'll fix that dates of activism, and then I'll get that out to you in the resource folder. Julianne, in the chat, there is a link that you want to save, and it's going to it'll be a resource folder always available to you, so you don't have with things that will be helpful to you in your position as regional rep. Okay, so that is dates. And the next item speaks about targets. One of the first things that you will want to do is to make a warm, happy relationship with your lieutenant governor of the districts in which you are responsible. So the first thing is, we'll do that introduction on the 23rd, but I want you to really work on an establishment of a relationship with the people that are that you're working with, a personal relationship. And I've got to ask on and each one of you, please put in your birthday in the chat if you would do that, because that's a unique date to you. Could you please right now put your birthday in the chat? You don't have to put the year if you want, just a month and the day. Because I want to remember you on your birthday. And Silke just had a birthday. Facebook is a helpful thing too. Facebook reminds me, but we'll want to know. Reza. So that means October 14th? Okay. Oh, we got a couple of Januaries. Julianne, your birthday, anniversary. Okay, so while, thank you for putting those in there. In your resource, I gave an idea. This is just an idea. You can do it however you want. But one thing that I like to have is a contact form. And this contact form, organization is really going to help you. So you want to get when I did it, I liked a 3-ring binder. And for my lieutenant governors, I would like them to have a page of each club. One side of their page, one tab for the club that they are responsible for, the lieutenant governors, would have the directory of all the members of that club. And they have a way of getting it off through leadership access. I'll show you that in a minute. I will, well, maybe if interest of time, we'll do it on the 23rd, but they can get the lieutenant governor can get every member of her district, and then she can divide it by the club. So on one side of her page, she will have the directory, and on the other side, a blank page, so that she can keep notes of when she's talking to people. So she knows things like, oh, sadly, so-and-so died, so she won't be a member going forward, but boy, we got 3 new people coming in, and these are their names. And when you hear that a new person is coming in, ask them who sponsored that person. Who is the person that introduced that person to Zonta, or will be walking closely with that person if they came by application. So we want to keep track of who's the person that brought that person in. Why would that be important? One of the reasons why it would be important is we want to say thank you and recognize that person. And praise performance is repeated performance. And some of you have been selected because you are a magnet of people. I will point out our friend from France. She has been a magnet of people. She has a way of getting people to the message and putting them together. And right now she's starting 2 new clubs in another country. So we will look forward to sharing ideas and such. So one of the things that you'll do is keep this little card so you know your people. You'll do it for the lieutenant governors, they'll do it for their clubs. You see how it goes? Kind of the same. So the first target is the establish of relationships with your lieutenant governor. And you want to be sure that they have a system of communication and recognition for their district. And then we'll teach them how to track their progress. You'll track and they'll track. We'll all track. Believe me, we'll be tracking every month. In the resource folder will be the membership report that comes from Zonta International, so you don't have to go fishing for it. And it has all the districts and total number of members, total number of clubs, all kinds of indices that are important to membership. These kind of things you can share with your lieutenant governors, but remember, these are private things too. You don't want to, you're being trusted with some inside information. So recognition system can be as simple as a monthly email that says, hey, welcome new members, and here are the people who sponsored them. It could be in a newsletter. A lot of districts have either a monthly or a quarterly newsletter. I don't really care which way they do it, as long as they recognize and keep track of who is the new member, make them feel special and welcome, and who is the person that brought that person to Zonta. Now, sometimes people will come to us because maybe they saw one of those forward public facing events and they say, I want to join that group. And they didn't come by invitation, they came by application. And that's okay. The membership chair for the club can assign a model Zanchan to be the person's mentor or sponsor. So you want to be sure the membership chair doesn't do it all herself. Sometimes they say, oh, I'll be the sponsor. I'll be the sponsor. I'll be the sponsor. But we want to share the joy. We want to have as many people in a club being a sponsor as possible. And we want to encourage everybody in a club to have at least 2 people that they bring to Zonta. And when a club membership chairperson gives a job to a member and says, here, you're going to be her sponsor, she's halfway to her 2 then. And it's so very easy to say, you're halfway there, you just need 1 more. And she'll be like, oh, good, I can get my 1 more. And that's how it goes. So that will be our first thing, is to the relationship and a system. Get your foundation set up. And then the next time that you meet with them, you will share ideas. I'm going to try to put in 10 fast and friendly membership ideas before we get off of this call. And when you see how it goes, when you're sharing ideas, it's the synergy builds, the excitement builds, the sense that, yes, we can do this. And the ideas come. And all of a sudden, you're off and running. One of the jobs that regional reps will have is to encourage the sharing of ideas, or what we call best practices. And then you'll tell your core committee contact, and she'll tell the core committee, and we'll make sure that it gets out to people. You see? So you will educate and inspire. Now, we already talked about the index cards. The day that you meet with them, I don't know your schedule. I don't know if you can commit like the core committee did to a once a month contact. It doesn't necessarily have to be an in-person meeting. It doesn't have to be a Zoom. It could even be an email. But you want to somehow touch them at least once a month. Some people like to do it once a week, an email or a call. You want to be the person they think about. You are their helper, and the idea, you're a resource, and you want to be in touch, because time goes by so fast. Before you blink, we have moved ahead in the calendar, and you can't get that time back. So now we're going to look at some words. You've probably said the words like, I know we have, fellowship and sisterhood. Have you heard those words? Fellowship and sisterhood, I'm going to ask us to try not to say, and we want to say instead, community and connection. Those are our words: community, the Zonta community, and connection with Zonta, with club members. And in our branding guidelines, they actually have some words they like us to use. I'll share that with you now. And I'll put the branding guideline in our resources too. They have some word palettes: trustworthy, courageous, encouraging, enrichment. And you'd have to translate it into your own language and such. So this will be in the notes. And we discussed, Ans said it so eloquently in our meeting on the 31st of August, She said, you know, it's sort of like a lifestyle. Zonta is a lifestyle, Zonta for life. And I told her that if we told young people that they had to join for life, they would run. Because let's face it, we're not a big commitment. but it is a lifestyle. It is a support system. And when you believe in the mission, you'll want to be a member in some way. If it's just a supporting member, if they can't be part of a club anymore. So we want to kind of keep them around. I also wondered if you know your membership ID. The membership ID is the first number that comes when you go to look at your profile on Zonta International website. The first thing that you see is your membership ID number. And I would like you to help your lieutenant governors be very familiar with this number as well. I'm trying to get Zonta International to implement an automated system of recognition for membership building. And this would be use it, and I don't know how I've submitted a request. It's been brought to the website developer. We're exploring the practicality of it, but we've already got these membership IDs. Let's say Sarah brought somebody new into Zonta. When we input her name, her address, her email, the treasurer, puts it in the data online. She could very easily put Sarah's 6-digit number there as the person who brought her into Zonta. When I met Misty in Greece, she did not join my club in New York because she lived in Denver, Colorado. She joined a club there. But I could still have a quote unquote, a credit, if you will, for bringing her in. We want to identify the people who are these people magnets because, they're important to Zonta. So let's get acquainted with our membership ID. You might want to put it on your date book, your calendar, wherever you keep put it on your phone, but have it somewhere, and let's get people starting to be acquainted with it, because when and if it comes, and I do hope it comes, I found, I don't know about you, but Zonta members are very competitive and they like a little contest. And if we had a contest that's fair and it comes by the computer, just figures it out, and the club president doesn't have to do the work, I think we'd see some top of mind awareness of membership building. Okay, so where are we? So set a time of day and a meeting that's good with you, and try to get some face-to-face time on Zoom with your lieutenant governors, but in the off months, contact them. Put it in your calendar. It doesn't have to be a long time. Maybe a 10-minute contact or an email once a month. You can do it as a group list. It doesn't have to be a long time, but it's just a touch base and keep them knowing that you're looking for them and that you're available to them.
Madam Chair, can I also suggest perhaps that they set up a WhatsApp group for, your 5 lieutenant governors.
Oh yes, and you know what? You're onto something there. Please do the Zonta app. Please do it on the Zonta app. You can set your group right there. And Julianne, I don't think I have you on here yet. And I need Misty on here too. So you can just search Zonta International from Google Play or the App Store, and that's a free app, and it's got the Z on your phone, and when you have a message, it shows it to you. So well, you can't see it, but anyhow, it's the Z. So yes, set up a group. That is the smartest, easiest way. We all keep our cell phones handy, and that is thank you, Anne. That's a great idea. We'll talk about how to access the district info in a while. Right now, the core committee cannot do it. Right now, the regional reps cannot do it. The only way that it can be done is by lieutenant governors. And when they go to My Zonta, they log into zonta.org, they go to My Zonta, and then they go to leadership access. They can then go in and get the full information for their district.
I apologize, Teresa. I meant how do we get access to the lieutenant governors?
Oh, I have a nice form for you that's coming to your way. I'm going to
Okay.
give you all the people. You'll see your districts, and then you'll see your lieutenant governor's name, and you will see your, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your question in chat. And you'll see their email address, and that's how you, but the first contact will be on the 23rd, where I'll invite you to this meeting and you'll meet them there. But yes, you will have all the contact information.
Okay, very good. And will you send this information out to us in an email? That might be helpful. I didn't know if we're not doing calendar invites so we can hold time on our calendars, or it should just everybody, I guess, is out on their own, or
I think what I'll do, Monica, I don't know how to do the calendar invites, and I tried to do it with the Google. I don't know. If you want to, if you're good at that and you want to do that, I can send it to you and ask you to do it.
yeah,
Or
I prefer not to, but I mean, maybe if someone on my staff can help, but it just helps to hold the time. Like I almost had this time. I actually had a 7:30 that I was able to move, but normally
oh, good.
it would be hard to remember the information and then find the Zoom details if it's just buried in a note. So when I was in the former committees, that's how we manage things to stay organized, if that's helpful.
Great. And you now have the dates, and the link that you used today will not change. Okay, so you can put it in your calendar for however you keep your calendar. You know, and we'll see about the technology of having it being able to link to your iCalendar, Google Calendar, or whatever calendar you use. I'm sure we all use different ones, but I would say put them in now for the rest of the year, for the rest of the Zonta year. That'll take you through May of 2023. Okay, so in the remainder of our time, I wanted to address working groups. So we have a giant job ahead of us, a giant job. We want to keep our people happy in our clubs. We want to add more people to our clubs, and we want to add more clubs. Obviously, those are the ways that we will grow membership. In order to do this, there are working teams that will support us, and they are greater diversity. And this is headed up by Eric. I was going to show you their pictures, but we're running a little late. So I'm going to skip that. You can see it on where Ans told you on my login to Zonta International, select our structure, our governance and structure, and it can open up to all the committees and the working groups. So
I didn't find it that easy to find, but if you start with About Us, and then you'll see leadership update. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the leadership update's very helpful too. I want to tell you that the diversity team will be coming out with a survey next month. So watch for that. And they're looking for the best practices for clubs. And I'll be asking the lieutenant governors at the meeting on the 23rd if they have better, good practices for club diversity in their club, if they're doing anything like that. And then there's a young talents working committee. And this is headed up by a very dynamic past president at the ripe old age of 21. She was just interviewed on Remarkable Women. Be sure to check that out. And Zonta Spirit, Lynn Foley. These are teams that will be putting, I'm not exactly sure how they were going to work. These are the recordings that we asked to have come for today so they could tell you in their own words. And we had to get the bugs worked out with the audio. So hopefully by the 23rd, we'll have that and they can speak it in their own words. But today we do have the chief club creator handy. And I want to go back a second to that rudimentary thing. I hope I didn't cross out of it. I did. So one of the things that will be helping us build membership is the quickest way to do it is have a new club. So I'm going to go back to this a second. because this is a new item, and there's my whole screen now. It's a new item, and districts may not know what is this club creator and what is it for, how does it work. And I will tell you that the club creator, that's that CC. You might have thought it was Coco Chanel, but it's not. And there's little dots. The club creator works under the lieutenant governor. We'll work with our committee, but as a regional rep, you don't have to connect with the club creator of your district. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Your lieutenant governor will work closely with that club creator. And Ons will be as well. And Ons, would you like to tell us a little bit about your club creator role?
Yes, I was so excited about the challenge that Teresa gave me together, a 2-minute, 3-minute video clip to outline the role of the club creators. And I really rehearsed it, had the lighting, had the makeup, had everything, and the video went beautifully until Teresa said no sound. So I did it again this morning, still no sound. And I must say, I'm not sure how I'm going to fix that. But anyway, because my Zoom is now not working at all. Anyway, my video clip was about introducing myself as the chief club creator and also telling the story about how it all came about. Because this chief club creator was, even for me, who has been in Zonta for 32 years, a new concept. So when Ute and I had a couple of meetings, this is a couple of months ago, she said to me, I'm going to make you the chief club creator. And she must have seen the puzzled look on my face because I didn't know what she meant. But quickly I went on to explain that really the role of the chief club creator is to provide guidance and directions for club creators that will be identified in each of the districts. So we will have 31 club creators. Each district, when the governors had their training earlier this year, they were advised that they needed to identify club creators in the district. And essentially that person was going to be tasked with, as the name suggests, creating a club. Now, that role is not something that they do on their own. The first step that the club creator will need to do is surround herself with experienced zontians, 3 or 4 or 5, depending on how many the experienced zontians they wish to use in that particular district, but effectively Ute had suggested initially 3 to 4 members who are experienced in Zonta. They could be past governors, they could be lieutenant governors, they could be women who have really a desire to be part of this exciting journey. Now, so the first step would really be to identify within that district who else is going to work with that club creator. The second step is that for that group to then come together with a direction and get some direction, for example, or discussion, as perhaps the word to use. The discussion would be, how are we going, what club are we going to focus on? Are we going to create an e-club? Are we going to create a club in a new town? Or perhaps in a new country, which is probably more likely when you live in Europe or in that part of the world where we still do not have countries in every part of Europe. But we could also look, for example, Sarah, we could look at, PNG. As you know, PNG is now one of the service programs. And so it would be likely that we could look at club. So the districts would together look at what type of club. It could also be that they would be interested in looking at a special interest group. That is also a new concept. That means that we will have perhaps a group of women who work in the same company, or who have the same profession, a group of teachers, a group of childcare workers, who really would like to form a Zonta club. So those 2 steps are really essential, and we've got to get that essentially today, because when we're doing it when you have these discussions, it's about what are the things that you have to do immediately, and what are the things that you have. So do now versus start now. Do now is really getting a group around you and start a discussion. And then the start now is, of course, as you know, when it's not an easy task to create a club, it will take some time, but it is important that they look at the step-by-step guide that Zonta International already has. I think it's important to highlight that club creators do not have to develop the tools. There are sufficient tools already available that are their resources, is perhaps another word, that Zonta club creators could use. So once they have the group together and they have a discussion about where they are going to focus their attention to, they need to look at the step-by-step guide and use that. And I'm not going to outline where the step-by-step guide is, because I think you probably will find, if you look on the membership tools, which is probably going to be your best friend in this biennium, the membership tools, because that's where that's where lieutenant governors often will say, well, where do I find this? Membership tools is going to be your best friend. And so the membership tools will have a step-by-step guide. Mm-hmm. Now, what is my role as the chief club creator? Clearly, it is about bringing those club creators together and share and generate some ideas, but also probably more importantly to basically just sort of, help them so they don't get stuck. Because as Teresa has already said, time goes very quickly. And if the idea is that we will have at least one club in each district, then that needs time. And that is really the role of the club creators, is to get a group of enthusiastic Zontians together, have a plan, and then execute that plan using the tools, using me, using perhaps other club creators. My role in the next couple of days is to work out how we can communicate, how I can reach out, perhaps through you, but certainly in the first instance, directly to the club creators. Some of the districts have nominated the lieutenant governor as a club creator. I don't like that. And I say I don't like that, and it's because I think the workload of the lieutenant governor is already quite large. So I would encourage, when you have your meeting with the lieutenant governor, to really encourage them to have a club creator. It's the role of the district governor, of course, to nominate and to identify a club creator, but certainly it's an important point that I want to highlight, that we really want to have a designated Zontian in each district that will have that role of club creator. Because what I would like as a sort of, I guess, a vision is that we can realize this goal of each district having 1-2 clubs even in this biennium. Imagine. That would really be something, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? I mean, I would be excited about that. So that is really what I was going to share with the club creators.
Thank you. That's awesome. If I was going to summarize what you would say, I would say that the chief club creator and will be for the club creators in each district, a resource, a guidance, a place to go if they have a question. And within the district, whoever this appointed club creator is will also be a guidance, a place where they can go for questions from clubs or anybody who may decide to step up. They don't have to be, it could be a club member who decides to make a new club. It doesn't have to be a president. It doesn't have to be anybody in leadership. It could be anybody. So she is a resource. She is an idea sharer. They'll put their good ideas, best practices together. Ans, we told you your chief club creator comes with a crown, but really it's going to come with pom-poms because you are going to be the cheerleader. And
I was going to say, one of the advantages that I have in my e-club is that I have a member, Diane Lego. Sarah, you might know her name. She's in her 80s and has joined the e-club. It's been in Zonta for a long time. And she has, as far as I know, the highest club, the number of clubs. She has created clubs, 16 different clubs, and is still going. So she is a resource that I have, and she really has done a tremendous job. And together with with other Zontians, has created many clubs. And you might hear the word create a club. Previously, they were referred to it as somming. Somming is another word that you might have heard, sponsoring, organizing, mentoring. But really, I really am eager to use the language that Ute has introduced us. So that's why we're talking about diversity, and we're talking about young talents, and we're talking about club creators. So that is essentially the benefit that I have Diane in my club.
Maybe you could interview Diane on camera and or a Zoom, and then share that out with us. That would be nice.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's a great.
She created 16 clubs. I mean, it's just like when people sponsor, they can do it again and again. They create clubs, they can do it again and again. And we have had some people within the Zonta body come forth and say, hey, I want to open a club in French Guiana. I want to open a club in Egypt. I want to open a club in Israel. And that's wonderful. And now they have a source, they have a resource to go to. So not only is she the cheerleader, she will also do the tracking, because when somebody wants to start a new club, the very first step is they apply. They fill out a form and they send it in through their governor to Zonta International, and the board approves it. And then they get a logo that says their club is in formation, and they have 2 years to make it happen. So then Zonta International sends us an email, and I'm getting so many of these emails. Ans, I'm very happy that you will be tracking them. That membership report that we get monthly, regional reps will have access to it too. It has the list of clubs information. I believe we have 15 right now, which is exciting, around the world. And the other thing that club creators are, you know, the search button on any website has that magnifying glass. And we are going to be detectives. They are being detectives with the microphone, what do you call it? What do you call that thing? What are these? These things.
Yeah, that's a magnifier. Yeah.
Magnifier.
Yeah.
They are going to be looking for places where we can have a new club. They're going to be looking for people who can help put that together. You only need a group of 20 people. Well, 15 now.
15.
But I like 20. 20 is a nice number to shoot for. You don't need a whole lot of people. If you think of how fast you have a follower on your social media, it doesn't take a lot of, in the olden days, we used to have the concept that it took a lot of energy and it was a big, heavy lift to make a club. But now we want it to be very quick and easy. You just have people who care about equality, people who care to make a difference in their community in a little bit of time. Let's face it, we meet 10 times a year. It's not a killer. People who want to make a difference in the world without it just, we want to make a quick and easy path for them. And it should be very easy to find 20 people, but it only needs to be 15. And in some cases it can be 10 to make a club. So we want to make.
And I think I want to add to that, because talking about making it quick and easy, we do now have the opportunity to, for example, do they call it a VIP, the vaguely interested people, who could come and have you send an email invite. So some clubs, of course, previously had held face-to-face meetings and offer drinks and have to organize, venue and things like that. You could definitely use the opportunity to do have a group of 20 online and do it all online.
Or in person. I'm going to have some kind of a thing. I always say, feed them and they will come. We'll put something together soon in my own community, where I have a bunch of friends, and our club that I'm creating is called Friends for Equality. Zonta Club of Roots in New York, Friends for Equality, and they're going to come and hear about Zonta. And I firmly believe that, okay, so what do you get when you put a spark by gasoline? It's a big conflagration, big fire. If you put baking soda and vinegar together, you get a lot of bubbles. When you put people and the Zonta mission together, you get members. So we just have to get the mission in front of people and you will have members. So that's how I believe. But moving on our schedule, I promise you, I do like to keep on track on time. And yes, Monica, I will figure out how to do the membership, the calendar invites. So also we have a new committee, PR committee was going to be a working group called Greater Visibility. They will be working on helping Zonta be out there. So all these working groups should help us be able to really grow membership this biennium. A few things to note. When you write an email to your lieutenant governor, and before the end of the day, you'll have all their email addresses. I'll put them in the resource folder. When you write to your lieutenant governor, please always put on CC the governor and your committee contact person. And I'll make sure that you, on that, you have already received it, but you may not have noticed it. Your committee, this was in the attached to your email with the connection information. It has your districts and it has the person who is your contact person. So for example, Sarah, and this is tiny, I have to get my glasses. Sarah has
Group 6.
group 6, which will be 16, 22, 23, and 24. And her contact person is Ons. Raisa, you and I are going to speak with, and Julianne, with Silka, because we are making some changes based on language to the European ones. And you guys will actually, you ladies will actually share District 29. So, but we'll go through this. We'll take a separate meeting and go through it. And Monica and Misty and I are going to meet separately as well and go through the US, because we're now dividing North America, and half the upper part of the US will go to Misty's, South America, and the lower half of the US will go to Monica. And I live on the East Coast of the US, so I'll take 1, 2, 3, and 4. I live in District 2, and it's very easy geographically for me to physically go to some spots in District 1, and they, as I said in the beginning, they need a little extra help. So you have that information already, but I'll put that in the resource as well. So last, we're on the things to note. So you always communication. We don't want a governor to not know what's going on in her group. So please do carbon copy them. You'll set up a group distribution. You'll have all these emails with you. The club creator, I'm assuming Ons will make a group for that. You don't have to really necessarily reach out to that person, because your point of contact is lieutenant governor. However, I did include the emails for the core committee. And what I'm finding out too, the club committee, I mean, club creators, a lot of C's. They're changing too, on some are shifting. So we'll see. Leadership access on the ZI website we just talked about. I put the resource link in the chat. I hope you have it. If not, it'll be in the, I'll make sure you have it in the follow-up thing, the follow-up email. September 23, the meeting for lieutenant governors and reps will be held 2 times, 1 hour later than today, for everybody except for Monica and Misty. North America will be at 1 p.m. Central. And the district handouts, assignments you have. It brings us to fast and friendly ideas.
I just want to add something, sorry, Teresa, because I think in some of the districts, they have email addresses for the lieutenant governor. So I noticed that on the spreadsheet here, these are of course personal addresses. But one of the limitations is that a lot of that information then when the biennium finishes, then, you know, stays with it. So it probably, I think it's some of the districts are really encouraging their board, the area directors and their lieutenant governors to use a Zonta email that will essentially help for the continuity. So check with your lieutenant governors if their district has introduced that, and use that then as the preferred email address.
We call
So
that
check.
a generic or domain-based email. And yeah, that's nice because then whoever's filling that role will be there. Great. Okay. I'm going to start you off on some fast and friendly ideas, and then I'm going to ask you if you've got some to add. Number one, we all do this immediately. So do now, as Ans would say. Add a tagline to our email signature that says, building a better world for women and girls through Zonta membership. Or with Zonta, I think is how I've got it. Use that tagline. Number one was actually sign up for the Zonta app. So I think we're pretty much almost all there. Misty and Julianne will do that today. And then 5x7. Oh, this is a great idea. One of the US clubs in Missouri added 40 new members to their club this past year. Naturally, I wanted to know, what did they do? One of the things they did was had a photo of each club member, and at each physical meeting, and you could do it on a virtual meeting as well. They featured the member of the month. Their group is so large, they did 5 a month. And they printed up the picture of the person, they put it in an acrylic frame, and when they walked into the meeting, they saw these pictures, and they were the members of the month, and they welcome back, and they would give some praise to that person, acknowledge something that the person was doing well. And they would systematically work through the entire membership. But people didn't know who was going to be the member of the month. I would say have at least 2, but that encouraged people to come and see if they were it. Immediately, clubs can recognize birthdays and Zonta anniversaries of club members. So when you get that, when a lieutenant governor goes to leadership access and downloads her entire directory for her district, she will see there the date, their join date, and you can sort it. It's an Excel file, so it can be sorted by join date, and you can very easily see what members joined in January, what's in February, and then whatever month it is, you put happy anniversary, and then how many years. So it would go by the month. Don't wait for milestone years. Do it every year. Also, same thing for birthday. I'm a big fan of those acrylic stands there, the picture frames. You just slide it, print it off, put it in there. This is month of May, for example. Here are all our birthdays. One group I know does a cake. I do like a cake. Anyhow, here's a really fast and friendly idea for the upcoming Zonta Says No. I don't know if every country does Halloween, but I know in the US, no, you know what we're talking about, US. So they have kids dress up and they go trick-or-treating. It's weird because we tell them, don't talk to strangers, don't eat candy from strangers, but then we dress them up and send them out to the neighbors to get some candy. But anyhow, in that candy could be a note that with a QR code taking them back to the Zonta district. We can get QR codes for them if they need some help with that, or the website. And we have the tagline, we're building a better world for Zonta, for women and girls. Find out more here. For more information, check this out. And it goes, then you're hitting young parents because they are sending their children trick-or-treating. There was a trick-or-treating one, Halloween candy. The one for the Zonta Says No is orange light bulbs. So the color of Halloween is orange, and that's the end of October. And right after it ends, all the stores put these orange light bulbs on sale. So you can get a regular old, and you could probably get them from Amazon, orange light bulbs. And say you lived in a neighborhood or you have a group of friends. Every club member could get her group of friends or her neighbor and maybe hand out 12, a dozen of these light bulbs, one per person, with a QR code that says "Building a Better World for Women and Girls," and maybe a little verse on what is, Zonta says no and to domestic violence, and a little information to go with it. Not a ton, a little bit. And then for every day of the 16 days, they put the orange light bulb out in maybe their lamp post in their yard or in a window. And we tried to orange up the neighborhood. Light bulbs, very inexpensive, very inexpensive. Here's another one that's another one that would go for that. Orange ribbons from the Zonta store. Get those. Zonta says no, orange ribbons, very inexpensive. And put them with a QR code. Have a group meetup in a college. Have some young people get signs. Zonta says no to domestic violence, and have everybody meet maybe by the flagpole, for example, at a certain day and time. If the weather is nice, get a store to donate some hot dogs or some kind of snack that people like, yogurt, it could be whatever. Feed them and they will come. College students will come at a certain time, and then alert the press so that people are assembling. You want to see how big of a group you can get in one place, and they can spend time making their signs, and they could even have a sign contest, have an assembly. The Orange Ladies. If you've seen the Orange Ladies.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. There's an orange lady. And then some clubs make them about 2 feet tall. And they put them out when they're during this time, a physical place. You can get a storefront to put one in there with information about Zonta. You can, for the 16 days, you can have, the point of it is you want to have something out in public. So now you give me a fast and friendly idea on making a happier club life or things that you can do outside of the club.
I think there's building on a lot of the ideas. I think they're all just so brilliant, actually. Like, those are brilliant ideas. And as you were reading them out, I was thinking of how they could translate to things that we do in Australia, like little events that we have or stuff like that. One big thing, like you mentioned, the Halloween stuff. So I think the equivalent of that for Australia, we do have Halloween here, but it's not as much of a big thing. But basically every school, every high school and primary school, they all have yearly carnivals and fetes that fundraise for the school, or they always do like bake sales and things like that. They're really common. So, potentially our version could be donating like some baked goods that we've made, some toffees or lollies or something, and having the little QR codes on them and donating those to schools to sell as part of their fundraising things. And another thing, you mentioned going into like colleges and having stalls at different universities. And I just had a thought again, like that kind of thing of, first of all, a lot of the uni clubs, there tends to be a gap in Australia of like, we have a big club culture at uni. Like, there's so many different social clubs and things like that. And then once you leave uni, there's a bit of a gap where you like, what do I do now? Where are my people now? So I think there's a big opportunity to sort of to go and connect with universities and again do a similar thing where we support some of the uni clubs, or even go to unis around like exam block time and maybe hand out little like comfort items like, hey guys, good luck with your exams, here's some like little things, and have the QR codes on them, and things like that. Or maybe and again, big in Australia is local sports, like casual sporting clubs. My friends, there's like local leagues where you can just set up clubs like with your friends, like set up teams just if you have a group of mates. So again, maybe going along and supporting some of those like little local events and local tournaments and being like, we're here, we're your cheerleaders. And
or getting a table at a sporting event, or a
Yeah,
shopping
very true as well.
get out of here.
Um,
So these are great ideas. And I looked at the clock. We are past time. We're 5 minutes behind. So I do want to stop us here. But keep the good thoughts coming and make a list. Put them in a book so you won't forget them. And then we'll share each time. And thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited. If you didn't see Julianne's message, she's got another how to start her clubs. The procedure is in the resource folder. And of course, in the absence of Silke, till she gets better, you can certainly reach out to me. And Zonta app is best way to get me, the quickest way. And thank you so much for your time. And be watching for some handout emails from me coming soon. Okay.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you very
See you.
much for this.
so much,
Thank you,
everyone.
Teresa.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.